Every single American has the potential to become a millionaire, but the government designed the system in such a way that more and more people will never become financially independent. It's a purposely designed system to keep more people in the payroll. I know that this sounds like a conspiracy theory, but if you give it a closer look, that's how the entire system is designed. In fact, from now onwards, it will become even more harder to break the cycle of poverty. And if you think that I'm exaggerating, let me show you exactly how you could have become a millionaire, or you could become a millionaire, but the government is not going to allow that to happen because it will make you financially independent, and that's not in the favor of any government. The average American makes around $2 million in his entire lifetime if you check everything, and you have to pay different kind of taxes, from income tax to sales tax to a lot of other kind of taxes. But one of the most important taxes that every single American pays, or at least every single person who is on a paycheck, is a payroll tax. And payroll tax is divided into two categories. You have the 6.2% that you pay from your income. There is a cap on $176,000, but there is also another 6.2% that your employer has to pay because the employer has hired you. And in total, if you check throughout the entire lifetime of a person who is working, he will be paying anything between $200,000 to $250,000 in payroll tax throughout his entire lifetime. And it makes sense because at the end of the day, when you're going to retire, the government will provide you with Social Security benefits, and those benefits are around $2,000. Yes, $2,000 is not going to replace your income, but let's be honest, something is always better than nothing. But let's stop for a moment and just do the math, whether this is in favor of you, whether this is the best strategy for you. Or maybe the system is designed in such a way that it's the government that is reaping all the rewards and ripping you off. So the average Social Security payment is about $2,000, and the average retirement is around $67,000. For some people, it's about $70,000 if you want to maximize your Social Security payments, and you can even retire as soon as $62,000, but in those circumstances, you are going to receive very minimal payments. And life expectancy is about 78 at this moment in the US, which means that for the next 10 to 11 years, you will be receiving Social Security payments, which is going to equal to around $250,000. If you look at the math like this, it seems like the government is mostly providing you with all the money that you have paid to the government throughout your entire life that you've been working so hard. It seems like the system is fair because if I gave the government $250, I'm receiving about $250. Of course, if you're earning more than that and if you're paying more in payroll tax, then you are also going to receive slightly more than that. But the real problem with this strategy is that the government is keeping your money. The real wealth is built throughout time. So here's how any rich person builds his wealth. You take the money that you earn, you multiply it by the time that you spend in the market, and that will generate compound effect. And this compound effect turns into wealth. So wealth is basically built slowly. The longer you build your wealth, the bigger your wealth is going to become. Now, a lot of people, everybody looks at Warren Buffett as the greatest investor of all time, because literally in the history of humanity, nobody has generated so much money just from investment purposes as much as Warren Buffett. And that's not even his entire net worth, because throughout his entire life, he has given dozens of billions of dollars. If he did not donate so much money, he would probably be today at $200 billion, if not more than that. And what allowed him to become so rich is simply because he started as early as possible, and right now he's almost like 100 years old, and that's why he's insanely rich. And if you ask any rich person, he will tell you that he got rich because he was building wealth over time. So the longer you are in the market, the more money you're going to make. If you're 10 years in the market, you make an X amount of money. If you're 20 years, you make more than that. Because beating the market is essentially almost impossible. But if you're at least consistent with your investment, you are going to make billions of dollars. Let's take a $50,000 paycheck. You're paying around 6.2% of payroll tax, which is around $3,100. Then your employer also has to match it with 6.2%, with around $3,100 as well. Before your employer will provide you with this paycheck, he's going to consider that he has to pay this to the government on behalf of you. So you can say for a fact that this money is supposed to go to you, but instead it is going to go to the government. So in total, out of this income, you are paying $6,200 in payroll tax alone. So over your entire lifetime, let's assume for a moment that you will be working for 40 years. You will be paying the $2 million on average. Now, for some people, it's going to be higher. For other people, it might be lower than that. But that's basically the average, which means that you will pay around $200,000 in Social Security. Now, if you take $200,000 and you divided it by the number of months in the entire 40 years, that will amount to $416. When you look at this number, it doesn't look like a big number. What is $416? It's not actually that much of a money, and you're paying that much in taxes. Now, of course, if you're making $100,000, you can easily multiply that number by 2. If you are making $150,000, you're paying far more than that. But $50,000 income is literally just the average for most people. But if you look at that $416 in a slightly different way, and you apply it to the formula that we just talked about, which is money multiplied by time, is equal to compound effect, which equals to wealth. Let's just take this formula and apply it to this. If you take this $416 and invested it in the safest investment possible in the stock market, which is the S&P 500. Now, S&P 500 are the collection of the 500 largest, most stable companies in the US. So we're talking about the largest tech companies from Nvidia to Tesla to Apple, but also to ExxonMobil, Disney, Netflix, and so on and so forth. You're practically using the products of the companies of the S&P 500 on a daily basis. Every time you pull out your iPhone, you order something from Amazon, you get your Netflix subscription, or you're heading to Walmart and you're buying stuff which are mainly produced by the S&P 500 companies. Historically, the index has grown by about 8% annually. There has been years where the financial crisis happened when the stock market crashed and it was negative. But if you just pull out the entire S&P 500 historically, you'll find out that it grows between 8 to 10%. But let's be a bit conservative and let's consider that the S&P 500 is only going to grow by about 8% annually. So the real question is that instead of paying payroll tax, what if you could take this $416 and you would invest it in the S&P 500 over the course of 40 years? The real question is, how much money would you have at the end of the tunnel? How much real wealth you will have when you, instead of giving that money to the government, you would have invested that money in the S&P 500 just on your own without the interference of the government? 40 years later, you will end up with $1.3 million of real wealth that you have in your hands. Yes, that's how much money you will have. And this is not the money that is tied in the hands of the government. This is the money that you have. And this is not just money, this is wealth. You will be actually investing less than $100,000, or I would say less than $200,000, but because that money is kept in the market for such a long time, and in this case it's like 40 years, it is going to grow to about $1.3 million. And here's the most beautiful thing about this investment is that you don't have to sell these investments. Of course, you can take the $1.3 million instantly out of the market, pay your long-term capital gain tax, and you will retire as a millionaire. But because you understand how investing works, you're not rushing into doing that. You will simply be selling 10% of your portfolio every single year. And 10% out of $1.3 million is about $130,000. And that's a lot of money. I mean, that's enough money for the vast majority of people to pay for their basic expenses at least, and you can live on that money. You can sell a bit more than that. You can sell 15%. But historically, if the market grows between 8 to 10% and you're just selling 10% of your income, you're actually having a passive income of $130,000 annually, and your wealth is not even going down. And if you're working at that age, and if you're not pulling out any money out of that, that money continues to grow. And here's the most beautiful part is that If you are paying Social Security throughout your entire lifetime and something happens in your life, let's say, for example, that you're going to pass away, you're not going to receive your Social Security benefits. That money will not be passed down to your kids. That money will not be paid to your wife. That money will not be paid to anybody. That money simply went into the pockets of the government, and God knows what the government has done with that money. But in this case, this is your investment. You can literally just pass down this investment to your kids so that your kids do not have to go through that very harsh path. If you have a child, your child will inherit $1.3 million and he will have a constant stream of income of $130,000. And if he is not going to be dumb enough to sell this investment, it is going to continue growing to dozens of millions of dollars, and your kids or grandkids will become a multi-millionaire, maybe multi-billionaire, depends on how they actually going to manage that money in the first place. But in the first case, when you're paying your payroll tax, the government doesn't care. You have to pay. You have no other option but to pay your payroll tax. And here's the beautiful or the strange part, I would say, with the Social Security. When FDR introduced Social Security, it wasn't about literally just taxing you so much. It was a very simple tax of 1%. You paying 1%, your employer is going to pay 1%, and that will be a total of 2%. So imagine you are like in 1937 when the New Deal was introduced and FDR introduced Social Security, and you're looking at this, just 1%, and the government has to somehow raise money in order to pay for the disabilities for people who can't afford. Because remember, this is like 1930s. United States is going through the worst economic crisis in history. This is Great Depression. People are unemployed. In fact, if I'm not mistaken, unemployment back in 1930s went to as high as like 15 or 17%. And if you just consider the youth unemployment, it was probably around 25%. So just paying an extra 1% just to make sure that those people won't end up in the streets, that these people will have something to eat, that these people are not going to starve to death. You don't have a problem with that. Most people just accepted that as a matter of fact and just went away with it. However, over time, bureaucracy got bigger and bigger. The governments got greedy and greedy, and the government is like, 1%? What is that? We want more than that. So they slowly began to increase the Social Security taxes from 1% to 6.2%. And now it's not a total of 2%, but a total 12.4%. And back in the days, you would only pay your Social Security tax on the first $3,000, and that's it. And if you're making more than $3,000, nobody cares. That's your money. But they also slowly started to increase the cap from $3,000 to as much as $176,000. And this number every single year, or almost every single year, is rising and rising and rising because the government's appetite is also rising. So instead of you taking your 12.5% and investing in the stock market and building real wealth and retiring as a real millionaire. So imagine for a moment, if the government had literally your best interest in heart, it would allow you to do that. But the government is like, nah, you paying taxes, and if you are going to retire and that $2,000 paycheck, let's be honest, $2,000 is not enough for a retired person. I mean, if you are like 18 years old and you get a $2,000 paycheck, okay, yeah, that's fine. But if you're like 70 years old, imagine how many diseases you have. Imagine if you don't have a proper insurance. Imagine how many health problems that you have. And you're not in that physical shape of an 18 years old, and you need a lot more money to maintain your lifestyle. Which is why that $2,000 that the government will give you after 40 years of paying taxes makes no sense when you can actually just invest that money in the stock market and literally make far more money. I would tell you even more than that. If you take that money and you literally just invest it in the treasury bills of the US, and you're the sole person who will receive the interest of those investments, you will be far better off, even if you don't go to the stock market. But here's the biggest problem. Social Security is running out of money because Social Security is not generating enough money to cover their payments. In fact, in 8 years from now, probably by 2033 or 2034, Social Security will begin cutting payments because the fund is not making money. The payments are rising on one side, the income of the government is falling on the other side, and the Social Security has to do something. And guess what they are going to introduce? They will simply say, well, we don't want Social Security to go out of business. Social Security is providing essential services to the American people. So instead of paying 6.2%, let's raise this to 7%. So 7% plus 7%, that will equal 14%. And that's an increase of less than 1%. That's a 0.6% increase. It's not literally that much. I mean, you can just swallow that. And that's how they will raise the Social Security payments. And again, instead of getting wealthier and building real wealth, you will simply be paying payroll tax your entire life. The real question is, who is going to pay all of these taxes? If you look at the economy, you will find out that there are different ways to make your money. And the way you make your money is going to determine how much taxes you are going to pay. If you're actually receiving a paycheck every month, then you are paying the highest possible tax. You pay income tax, payroll tax, Medicare tax, whatever tax, this tax and that tax. And at the end of the day, when you go on to spend that money, you're also paying sales tax, and God knows how many more taxes you are going to pay. Now, our society is divided. Like the vast majority of people get their income from paychecks, so they're paying the vast majority of income. But the top 5%, or even probably like the top 3% of people, these are investors. These people are not actually generating income. So let's take Elon Musk. This is, of course, a very extreme example, but by giving an extreme example, it can give you a far better idea to understand how things work. Elon is not receiving any kind of salary. He doesn't need that income. He is making his money from the rise of Tesla stocks. So he's like, don't pay me any money, but every time I achieve a certain milestone, I want more Tesla stocks. That's it. I'm making so much money. And they're paying capital gain tax. Capital gain tax is far lower than income tax. And when you're making your money from investments, you're not paying payroll tax. So when you are going to raise the payroll tax again, the top 1% is not going to pay. The top 5% is not going to pay it. The people who make their money from investments are not going to make it. If you have invested that money and you also made your money from these investments, you're also not going to pay payroll tax. But everyone else who is on a paycheck is going to do that. And here is the very interesting thing is that you will find politicians who will come and say, we have to raise the taxes on the rich people because the rich have to pay their fair share of taxes. Now, have you ever wondered who are the rich people they're talking about? Now, let's just be very realistic. Now, you have to understand that nobody is talking about the real rich, like the rich people who make their money from investments, the real rich people who make their money from the stock market. They're not talking about that because essentially by selling those investments, you're not required to pay any kind of payroll tax. The rich people that they're talking about are the doctors, engineers, and the people who receive a very high paycheck who are also paying Social Security taxes. So essentially, we're putting more burden on the working people. They are not the true rich people. If you have a doctor who is making $300,000, yes, he is to a certain extent rich. He is having a good lifestyle. But he is not the true rich people. This is not the rich people that when you think about the rich people. So when politicians come out and say that we have to increase the Social Security taxes because Social Security is going to go out of business, ask yourself this question. They're not going to tax the true rich people who are making money from the stock market. Now, I'm not telling you all of this so that we sit down here and complain about how unjust the system is. Now, changing the entire system is extremely difficult, and probably it's not actually even done by one person. Maybe it will be changed over time throughout the next few decades, but you have to think about yourself. Instead of changing the system, how about you understand the rules of the game and you play by the current rules? So instead of actually making your money from paycheck, you start making your money from your investments. You're not going to do that overnight because you need money to invest in the first place. So you might have a job, you might be a doctor, an engineer, or whatever you are doing. But when you understand the rules of the game and you slowly start moving into investments and you start replacing your income from investments, your investments start to grow over time. And that's when you can actually quit your job or do whatever you want or continue your job. But your investments are growing, building your real wealth. And when you sell a portion of your investments, you don't have to pay your payroll tax. And that's exactly what the rich people do all the time. So if you want to know how exactly to do that, and if you haven't made your first $100,000 in the stock market yet, then check out the first link in the description of this video. Thanks guys for watching, and I will see you in the next one.